The story of Argentina's middle class being wiped out is a troubling reflection of the country's deepening economic crisis. Over the past decade, Argentina has faced rising inflation, currency depreciation, and unsustainable debt levels, leading to widespread financial insecurity for its once thriving middle class. Once a hallmark of Argentina's economic and social fabric, the middle class is now struggling to make ends meet, grappling with rising costs of living and a diminished quality of life.
Firstly, thank you for watching, and don't forget to smash that like, subscribe, and notification bell for more global finance uncovered, as we continue to work hard and around the clock to always deliver and improve on our content for you. We would greatly appreciate your additional support by you clicking the like button, notification bell, and subscribe button and joining our channel's growth.
The country's fiscal challenges have eroded the purchasing power of ordinary citizens, leaving them with few options to maintain their standards of living. Inflation in Argentina has been particularly devastating. The country has experienced inflation rates exceeding 100% annually, eroding wages and savings. Prices for essential goods such as food and energy have soared beyond the reach of many families. For the middle class, who rely on stable incomes and predictable costs, the relentless rise in prices has obliterated their ability to afford the basics. Everyday items that were once easily accessible, such as fresh produce or household goods, have become luxuries for many. The Argentine peso has suffered a severe depreciation, further contributing to the middle-class struggle. Currency devaluation has made imports more expensive, driving up the cost of goods that Argentine consumers rely on. For many middle-class families, this has translated into significant reductions in their ability to buy imported goods, including electronics, cars, and other household necessities. The peso's collapse has also destroyed savings, as many Argentinians who kept their money in local currency have seen its value plummet overnight. Unemployment has become a growing concern as Argentina's economy continues to falter. The country's industrial and service sectors, which traditionally provided stable employment for the middle class, have been hit hard by the economic crisis. Companies have been forced to lay off workers or close entirely, leaving many middle-class professionals without a source of income. Even those who have managed to keep their jobs are often seeing wage freezes or cuts that fail to keep pace with inflation. In addition to rising unemployment, underemployment has emerged as a serious issue. Many middle-class workers who have lost their full-time positions are now forced to accept part-time or informal jobs that offer little job security or benefits. This shift towards informal labor has made it difficult for families to maintain financial stability, as they can no longer rely on steady, predictable income streams. It has also exacerbated the sense of precarity that defines the experience of Argentina's shrinking middle class.
Housing, a cornerstone of middle-class aspiration, has become increasingly unaffordable. Mortgage rates have skyrocketed, making it nearly impossible for families to buy homes. Those who already own property are facing rising taxes and maintenance costs, further straining their budgets. Renting, once a viable alternative, has also become more expensive, with rental prices rising in tandem with inflation. Many families are being forced to downsize or move to less desirable neighborhoods as a result. The middle class's struggles are compounded by Argentina's unsustainable debt load. The government has resorted to borrowing from international lenders like the International Monetary Fund (IMF) in an attempt to stabilize the economy. But these loans have come with stringent austerity measures. These measures often include cuts to social services, public sector wages, and pensions, all of which disproportionately affect the middle class. As public services decline and out-of-pocket costs rise, middle-class families are finding it harder to access healthcare, education, and other essential services. Political instability has also played a role in Argentina's middle-class collapse. Frequent changes in government, coupled with populist economic policies, have created an unpredictable business environment that discourages investment and growth. This lack of stability has further weakened the middle class, as economic uncertainty makes it difficult for families to plan for the future. Without a reliable framework for economic recovery, the middle class remains stuck in a cycle of financial insecurity. The impact of the middle class's decline is not just economic but also social. Argentina's middle class has traditionally played a key role in promoting social cohesion and political stability. As they face increasing hardship, many middle-class families are growing disillusioned with the government and its ability to solve the crisis. This disenchantment has led to growing protests and strikes, as people demand relief from the economic burden they are bearing. The erosion of the middle class threatens to deepen Argentina's political divisions and destabilize the country further. The future of Argentina's middle class is uncertain. While some economists argue that structural reforms and international assistance could help stabilize the economy, others warn that the damage may be too deep to reverse without significant long-term consequences. For now, Argentina's middle class remains trapped in an economic crisis that has eroded their savings, jobs, and hopes for the future. Without a clear path forward, the country risks further economic decline, with the middle class bearing the brunt of the fallout.
The collapse of Argentina's middle class is not just a reflection of the country's current economic challenges, but also of its long-standing structural problems. Decades of economic mismanagement, corruption, and volatile policies have created an unstable foundation that has repeatedly undermined the middle class's growth and stability. In many ways, the current crisis is the culmination of years of unsustainable practices, including excessive government spending, debt accumulation, and reliance on short-term fixes rather than addressing deep-rooted problems such as productivity gaps and income inequality. One of the key issues contributing to the middle class's collapse is Argentina's reliance on foreign debt. The country has long borrowed heavily from international markets to fund government spending and maintain social programs, but this has created a debt burden that it struggles to manage. In recent years, Argentina has faced multiple debt defaults, and its failure to pay creditors has led to even harsher economic conditions. The middle class, which once benefited from government subsidies and services, is now feeling the impact as austerity measures cut deeply into public spending. The inflationary spiral that has gripped Argentina is another critical factor in the middle class's demise. High inflation erodes the real value of wages and savings, making it nearly impossible for middle-class families to keep pace with rising costs. While the government has attempted to implement price controls and subsidies for basic goods, these measures have often fallen short, leading to shortages and exacerbating the sense of insecurity among middle-class citizens. For many families, inflation has forced difficult choices, such as cutting back on food or health care to make ends meet. In an attempt to escape the economic turmoil, many Argentinians are turning to alternative currencies such as the US dollar or cryptocurrencies. The peso's collapse has led to a widespread lack of confidence in the national currency, and middle-class families are increasingly seeking ways to protect their savings. However, accessing dollars has become difficult due to government-imposed currency controls, and the use of cryptocurrencies remains limited to those with technical knowledge and access to digital platforms. As a result, many middle-class families are left with few options to safeguard their financial futures.
The erosion of middle-class wealth has also contributed to a growing sense of inequality in Argentina. While the country's economic crisis has impacted people across the board, the middle class has been particularly hard hit, falling into poverty at alarming rates. Meanwhile, a small segment of the population, often those with access to international markets or assets in foreign currencies, has been able to weather the storm more effectively. This growing divide between the wealthy and the struggling middle class is contributing to social tensions and fueling resentment. Argentina's educational system, once a pillar of social mobility, is also feeling the strain of the middle class's decline. The economic crisis has forced many families to pull their children out of private schools and universities, opting instead for public institutions that are often underfunded and overcrowded. The quality of education has deteriorated, making it harder for middle-class families to provide their children with the skills and opportunities needed to improve their futures. This decline in educational access threatens to further entrench social inequality. As wealthier families are still able to afford quality education for their children, Healthcare, another cornerstone of middle-class life, has similarly been affected by the crisis. With the government slashing spending on public health services, middle-class families are increasingly forced to turn to private healthcare providers. However, the soaring costs of private care are out of reach for many, leading to delayed treatments and worsening health outcomes. The strain on the public healthcare system has also resulted in longer wait times and reduced access to essential services, exacerbating the challenges faced by middle-class Argentinians. The mental and emotional toll of Argentina's economic collapse cannot be underestimated. The middle class, once a symbol of stability and aspiration, is now facing feelings of helplessness, frustration, and anger. The constant struggle to make ends meet, combined with the uncertainty of the future, has led to rising rates of anxiety, depression, and stress among middle-class families. Many people feel trapped in a cycle of economic decline, with little hope of escaping the hardships they face. This psychological burden is having a ripple effect on society, contributing to a decline in overall well-being and social cohesion.
The collapse of the middle class has also had a profound impact on Argentina's political landscape. Historically, the middle class has been a moderating force in Argentine politics, advocating for stability, democratic values, and incremental reforms. However, as the economic crisis has deepened, many middle-class citizens have become disillusioned with traditional political parties and leaders. This disenchantment has fueled the rise of populist movements and candidates promising radical solutions to the country's problems, further polarizing the political environment. Finally, the middle class's collapse raises serious questions about Argentina's long-term prospects. Without a strong and stable middle class, the country risks falling into a permanent state of economic and social instability. Middle-class families, once the backbone of Argentina's consumer economy and democratic institutions, are now being pushed to the margins. Rebuilding the middle class will require comprehensive reforms that address both short-term economic challenges, such as inflation and debt, and long-term structural issues, such as inequality, corruption, and productivity. Without such reforms, the outlook for Argentina's middle class and the country as a whole remains bleak.
Thank you for watching, and don't forget to smash that subscribe, like, and notification bell for more global finance uncovered.